Hello and welcome to another video for pre-calculus with Jeremy Lane. And this one is on completing the square, but we're going to work with expressions in this video. In another video, we will work with equations on the process of completing the square. Now, geometrically, this is the idea. So we have an incomplete quadratic, x squared plus 2bx. And what we're going to do is demonstrate the idea of completing the square with pictures. So what happens is that the x squared portion here represents the area of this blue square here. Since it's a square and the area is x squared, the dimensions of it must be x. That's by construction. The second part of the quadratic, 2bx, this represents the sum of the areas of the red rectangles. So if I cut the coefficient of x in half, I get the dimension that's missing from each one of these red rectangles, okay? Remember, they line up on the blue one, so one of the dimensions has to match the square, so one of them has to be x. So on this red rectangle, you have a dimension of x, you have a dimension of half the coefficient of x in the incomplete quadratic, and this gives us a area of bx when I multiply those two things together. Now I have two of these, they're identical, so I have 2bx. So this term here represents the sum of the areas of the red rectangles that are on the sides of the blue square here. And when you put all of these pieces together, you get a shape where this purple region is missing. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the dimensions of this purple region, and we're going to fill it in, and that's why it's called completing the square, at least with this picture, so that we can fill in that purple region. So the dimensions of this corner square have to match up to the dimensions of the rectangle. So we know that the dimensions of the rectangle have half the coefficient of x up here, which we've labeled as b. So one side is b to match this guy, another side is b to match this guy, and we have b and b. So this is a square. The area of a square is length times width, so it's b squared. And what this tells us is that if you want to know the area of the missing corner piece when you're doing this, take half the coefficient of x and square it. That's the area of the missing piece, the area of this purple region. And that's what we're looking for when we do this process. So let's see this in action algebraically. I mean, here's the picture, but let's see it algebraically. So with this demonstration, we're going to complete the square on the following expression, x squared plus 4x. First thing you want to do is make sure the coefficient of x squared is 1. In this case, it is, so we can continue to step 2. Next, we want to divide the coefficient of x by 2. Remember, in our picture, the coefficient of x up here represents the sum of the areas of the two red rectangles that are kind of hinged onto the square. So we're going to cut that in half, that coefficient, we're going to cut it in half, we get 2, and that tells us the length of the side of those rectangles. Remember, one of them is x because it has to line up on the square that's formed by the x squared piece, and the other dimension has to be half the coefficient of x here. So if you remember, we're trying to get this picture where we have x squared plus 4x. So 2 times 2 is 4, so b has to be 2, and the area of each of those has to be 2 times x, and that's where you get x squared plus 4x, 2x here and 2x here. Okay. Our third step is to square the result of the previous step. And remember, that gives us the area of that purple square. So if you come back to, we're looking for this purple square's area, 2 times 2 in this case, and we get 4. Now that ends pretty much the idea of completing the square, okay? At this point, there are some things we have to be aware. This is where reading the directions in your problem become very, very important. If you have directions that say, determine the value required to complete the square, then our last step when we square half the coefficient of x, that would be the result. That would be the answer to this question. In our example, it would be 4. But many times, though, the directions ask you to rewrite the expression using completing the square technique and rewrite it in a factored form, which is one of the uses of completing the square. If this is the case, we have to go another step. So what we're going to do is we're going to add and subtract the value that we got from step 3. Okay, so we started with x squared plus 4x. We have x squared plus 4x plus or minus 4. We have to do this because we have to maintain the balance. If I just add 4, then I no longer have the same expression. But I can always add 0 and keep the value of that expression equal. So I'm going to add 0 in a very special way because 4 minus 4 is 0. Then I'm going to go ahead and separate out the plus or minus into a plus 4 and then a minus 4. And the reason why I do this is because x squared plus 4x, that's the incomplete quadratic right there. If I always take the plus b squared, I get a perfect square trinomial, because this represents the area of the whole big square that I was building. The minus 4 exists because of the algebra to maintain the balance. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 will always factor down, in this case to x plus 2 quantity squared. The minus 4 comes along for the ride, and this is in factored form as low as we can get it and maintain equality. This expression, x squared plus 4x, equals x plus 2 quantity squared minus 4. If you expand this out and combine like terms, you will get exactly x squared plus 4x. So we've kept the expression the same value. We added 0 in a very special way so we could factor it down, and we can keep our quadratic the same value. And this is where you have to really watch out for the directions. So please make sure that you read the directions carefully so that you know if you're just supposed to find a value to complete the square, or do you have to go further and rewrite expressions. With this second demonstration, we're actually going to rewrite the expression. Okay, it says rewrite the incomplete quadratic expression 3x squared minus 5x in factored form. Now, our first step, determine if the coefficient of x squared is 1. Coefficient of x squared in this case is 3, and 3 is not 1. So the answer to this is no, it's not equal to 1. And this means that we have to factor out that coefficient from both terms, which is done here. 3x squared minus 5x can be rewritten as 3 times the quantity x squared minus 5/3 x. All right. If I distribute the 3 on both of these terms, I will get exactly this expression back. So if you have 1 as your coefficient, there's no problem. You just continue on. If you don't have 1 as your coefficient, you're going to have to factor it out. So beware when you have to factor negatives out, because that negative has to come with that number. So be careful of that. Consider the expression inside the parentheses. Okay, we factored out the 3. We've taken care of the dilation effect that these things have, and we're now back to our incomplete quadratic that we saw in the previous example. So we follow our steps. We have a coefficient of 1 on x squared. We can go ahead and divide that coefficient by 2, and 5/3 divided by 2 gets to be 5/6. Okay, so here we have our length of our rectangles that we latched onto that square. We have those lengths, those b values that we're looking for. And of course, now because we are rewriting our incomplete quadratic, we now have to add and subtract, but you have to do this inside the parentheses because we haven't distributed that 3 through yet. So you got to do it inside the parentheses because that's where 0 needs to be added. If you do it outside the parentheses, then when you go back to factor through, things won't work out correctly. So you want to make sure that you do it inside the parentheses. So here we have 3 times quantity, x squared minus 5/3 x, plus or minus 5/6 squared. And that can be rewritten as 3 times x squared. We'll wait for the bar to drop. minus 5/3 x plus 25 over 36 minus 25 over 36. Now remember, if we always take that plus part of the plus or minus, we always get a perfect square trinomial, which can be factored. This is the point of completing the square. You want that to come out. So now we do that. And again, we recognize this as a perfect square. It's actually constructed that way. So we have 3 times the quantity, x squared minus 5/3 x plus 25 over 36. That is a perfect square trinomial, and it can be factored down. The minus 25 over 36 comes along for the ride. So I go ahead and rewrite that perfect square trinomial in its factored form, and I end up with 3 times the quantity, x minus 5/6, that quantity squared, and then minus 25 over 36, still inside the parentheses to multiply by 3. The final step, done by the distributive property, goes ahead and distributes the 3 on both of those, and we end up with our final result of 3 times the quantity, x minus 5/6, all of that squared, minus 25 over 12. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why you have to be very, very careful when you are adding and subtracting inside grouping symbols, so that you make sure that it stays inside there until you're ready to distribute things through. So this is an example of how to complete the square, and hopefully this is clear for you. So thank you for your time and attention, and look for another video on completing the square, except it will be with equations rather than expressions.